will now proceed with the award of the honorary degree of the University of London. Honorary degrees are conferred on persons of conspicuous merit, outstanding achievement in their field of expertise, and for the contribution that they've made to society. So will you please welcome Dr. Marianne Menager to present Suw Charman-Anderson for the award of Doctor of Science, honoris causa of the University of London.
Vice-Chancellor and Principal, it's my honor to present to you Suw Charman-Anderson. This honorary degree recognizes Suw's role as founder of Ada Lovelace Day, an international celebration of women in science, technology, engineering, and maths, and her continued advocacy in STEM. Suw is an entrepreneur, an author, and a campaigner. From an early age, she was interested in technology, using her father's ZX80 computer to develop her skills in programming. After completing her degree in geology, she moved from science publishing to music journalism to website design. In 2005, she co-founded the Open Rights Group, a leading UK digital rights campaigning organization. As its first executive director, she shaped the group's early policy work, gave evidence in Parliament on digital rights management, and made regular appearances on television, including BBC Newsnight. Suw's interested in how technology can improve communications and collaboration developed, and she was one of the early adopters of social media and became one of the UK's earliest social media consultants. She often found herself at tech events, but noted that they were always very male-dominated. At one event, she remembers, there were around 100 people attending, but not only was she the only woman on a stage, she was also the only woman in the whole room. This raised the question, where are all the women? She asked the question, and one organizer replied that, well, there aren't any women. Suw recalls her unbelieving response, no, I know quite a few. There are women. A response that many women in this room can relate to. So in 2009, she pledged that on 24th of March, she would write about a woman in tech who she admired and encouraged others to do the same. What Suw thought just would be a few friends blogging really took off, and before she knew it, the BBC were covering the story, and thousands of people had signed up, quickly expanding beyond women in tech to women in STEM. This was the start of what would become known as Ada Lovelace Day. By 2011, Ada Lovelace Day was a live event with women on a stage talking about their research, alongside comedians and musicians, and what had begun with over 1,000 blog posts quickly evolved into a global movement. Since 2008, there have been over 1,000 individual events in 240 towns and cities across 43 countries. Ada Lovelace Day was honored by a resolution in US Senate in 2018 and by a Westminster Hall debate in Parliament in 2025. Suw became a visiting associate at University of York in 2019, working with the Department of Biology to support early career scientists. The impact has been impressive. Suw is proud that some women's careers have completely changed because they spoke at Ada Lovelace Day. One got her first book deal because of her talk. Others have had invitations to prestigious events or reported notable career progress. Women have also inspired to set up their own groups, like Alex Knight at STEMazing, and it also been the catalyst for other events such as the Tauranga STEM Festival in New Zealand, which attracts around 10,000 people every year. Beyond Ada Lovelace's day, Suw has consistently worked to improve opportunities for women in STEM. During the pandemic, she established the Finding Ada Network, an online mentoring program which supported early career women across science and technology. Around 300 mentees benefited from the program, and many continue contact with their mentors. Suw is proud that Royal Holloway is recognizing her work, especially given the university's long history of female trailblazers in STEM. Although the 2024 Ada Lovelace Day marked the end of the official live event, Ada Lovelace Day is still recognized on the second Tuesday of October each year. And the global grassroots movement Suw created continues to inspire new generations of scientists, technologists, engineers, and mathematicians. It is with great pleasure, therefore, that I invite you, Vice Chancellor and Principal, to confer the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, of the University of London upon Suw Charman-Anderson.
I would like to humbly thank the Vice-Chancellor and Royal Holloway for this honour, and Dr. Mariam Mernajad for her kind words. It is hard to express just how much this award means to me, particularly coming from such an esteemed institution as Royal Holloway. I am very grateful indeed. And congratulations too to all of you here today on your graduation. You have poured your heart and soul into your studies, and today is the culmination of all that hard work. If you could permit me to give you one small, immediate piece of advice, it would be to take a moment to feel proud of your achievements. It is easy to be swept up in the change that you will soon face, but it's worth taking a moment to remember your accomplishments, particularly at times when the future may not feel so easy to navigate. Throughout my career, I have had to navigate constant change. I have had to change to fit different roles in different contexts, working in different ways with different technologies to solve different problems. And I suspect that your future will also feature quite a bit of change, and that change may come more rapidly than is comfortable. I am, however, confident that you have the skills and resilience to adapt to new technologies, acquire new expertise, and shape the world around you to reflect the values and ethics that you've learnt here at Royal Holloway. When in 1842, Ada Lovelace began working on her groundbreaking notes on Charles Babbage's analytical engine, all she had to guide her was his unfinished blueprints. There was no prototype upon which she could test her ideas or debug her program. She had to dig deep into her imagination to see just what the analytical engine could be capable of, how it might be programmed to create graphics or music, to do more than any mechanical device at that time could even pretend to do. Over 100 years later, Alan Turing asked, "Can machines think?" And he discussed what he called Lady Lovelace's objection, quoting her belief that the analytical engine has no pretensions to originate anything. It can do whatever we know how to order it to perform. Another 3/4 of a century later, and we have become very good indeed at ordering computers to perform. But the question remains as to whether they can originate anything. In the late 19th century, a computer was a person who computes. It was seen as a menial, repetitive job, one that women were particularly suitable for, certainly not one that required imagination. When the modern computing era began, the first programmers were also mostly women. Joyce Aylard and Joan Clark used the bomb machines to help break the Enigma code. Marlyn Meltzer, Betty Holberton, Kathleen Antonelli, Ruth Teitelbaum, Jean Bartik, and Frances Spence programmed the ENIAC computer. Rear Admiral Grace Hopper worked on UNIVAC and invented the compiler. The list of women in the history of computing is long and illustrious, and I promise that every single one of them used their imaginations to help them solve computing problems. By the 80s, small, affordable domestic computers began to change the way that programming was viewed. My family's first computer was a Sinclair ZX80. It didn't have a monitor. We had to plug it into the television set and load programs from cassette tapes. By the time I got my first email address in the mid-90s, a time when my computer screen could only display the color green, computing was becoming a male-dominated industry. Over those 15 years, computers became important business tools to be used by important business men. Women became locked out. Lovelace would, I suspect, have been appalled. She had a unique vision of what computers could do, one that none of her male peers seemed to have truly understood at the time. Nearly 2 centuries after Lovelace, computing technology has changed beyond measure, and it is hard to imagine what that technology could become capable of. But imagining the future of technology is now up to you. With that will come imagining the jobs of tomorrow. Most of my jobs didn't exist when I was graduating. I had to make it all up as I went along. But with all of your skills and knowledge and passion, you have the chance now to imagine a better future, one that is better than the present, a future that belongs to all of you and all of us, regardless of who we are, a future that empowers everyone, including women. Because computers may not be able to originate anything, but you certainly can. Thank you.